Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Trekyards. I'm Captain Foley,
I am Connor Combs.
and today we're looking at something really shiny and pretty. Made of crystal, I guess. Maybe not. But it's Crystalline entity. It made an appearance in the latest episode of Lower Decks, I Excretius. We want to talk about it a little bit because they did it pretty. They did it justice in the show, I gotta say, as they do with a lot of things on Lower Decks. So let's just talk about
And this was a low-key mic drop moment that isn't played for that, but they've retconned the canon, but arguably not set in stone or set in crystal, as it were. But Christianity only appeared twice, and then got shattered. And while not explicitly said to be the only one, I do believe they say it's the only one we've seen. And so the impetus is it's a unique entity, special magic, whatever. But then, no, explicitly in this episode, Mike McMahon has chosen to undo that mythos and make them abundant, at least in that sector of the quadrant, in a doubling down, double way, multiple level joke. Which, you know what? We both said it makes sense to shoot more than one, and now there's plenty.
Yeah, and it's ironic because we were just doing our review of TNG, and not that long ago we did the one where this one got destroyed, and we kind of wondered about that during that review. Is there just one? Is it very unique? Are they rare? I guess not, because it's Crystalline Entity season apparently in Lower Decks when they go scanning for things, because they find some mating, some one devouring a rogue planet, one by a gravity well. I don't know. There's a lot of them apparently.
Or they just found they happen to be in their home space. It's where it's where they're from.
It looks really good too. It definitely translates well into the animated realm. And they definitely did it justice as far as the different screenshots we saw of it. I want to learn more about these crystalline entities. Where are they from? Let's learn about these guys. I mean, come on. It's like a silicone-based life form. It's got a different life cycle. I want to know about it.
And just because the one we saw in TNG was a mass murdering creature, it was just doing it to eat. It just happened to have been tempted by a slightly nasty android to come and eat his planet. If it hadn't have done that, then the TNG crew would have thought, oh, that's an interesting life form, let's go say hey. It was only through that initial, act that it became a hostile entity.
It's just like a shark. I mean, you can't blame it for eating and trying to survive. So, I mean, it doesn't mean to murder people necessarily. Although, that being said, I guess it could be debated whether it's sentient or not, considering it communicated with Lore and kind of teamed up with Lore to come and attack the planet, I guess. Seems like an odd thing, but...
Well, and obviously teamed up is relative because, like you said, if it's a shark, then what if you can sort of send the right pheromones to a shark and create some sort of pheromonial, if a shark talks to other sharks, not in the same way we do, but in any way, and if you can translate that, then you've got something. But sure, arguably though, I mean, this first comparison picture, which compares the two most similar views of this thing from the two shows, very large, very, very large, and so, people are less than ants, scale-wise, and even the biggest starship in the Federation is a toy car to it. And so these things work on a higher plane of thinking that doesn't, correspond to our level because it's so different and so much grander. And if this is, even just a small one or a child version, who knows, a young one, who knows how big these things can get.
We don't know, we don't know enough about them, unfortunately.
We know
are
nothing.
There larger ones?
Oh, boy.
Well, yeah. Did they come from a different dimension? I don't know. And I love in the episode 2, they say crystalline, they say crystalline, they say it a bunch of different ways, much like the Mugatu, because there's different ways to pronounce it, or people think there is, and they always change it up. So I thought that was hilarious. That mentioned I think 3 different ways to say it in the one episode of Lower Decks. So the lore attracting it to the planet, I don't know how I feel about that. They almost made it seem like it was smart. But I don't think it is necessarily. I don't know. I'm too close-minded, I guess.
Well, it's relative, isn't it? It's got consciousness, but not on the way we whatever it. I will say though that on this first still, I think TNG looks better, honestly, because it was an original 1980s effect and then remastered, but it was still very early CG. I think it looks better. A lot of that's because I think it looks more see-through and glassy. The new one looks more like a tree. Like it's sort of see-through, but they haven't been able to capture the reflectiveness anywhere as effectively, at least in this picture. So I think it looks much nicer in TNG. You know what it is in this version, but if that was a tree, a space tree, you wouldn't think anything of it. in Lower Decks. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I appreciate the view screen comparison because they did a really good job. Even the kind of purpley and pink colors that are in the middle of it there, kind of exaggerated it on the Lower Decks one because there's like a gravitational well around it or something.
They paid homage in all the best ways in this episode, let alone for this one thing. But it was certainly, I mean, you know, I really appreciate just seeing it at all, and it gives it more impetus. This entire sequence of it feeding on this planet and taking these eddies, whatever, or whichever one they found. It's doing something that implies it's kind of feeding or living differently than whatever. It at no point attacks the crew. You know, we've only seen it attack in very specific circumstances. So I appreciate that while Freeman's putting her crew in risk, in theory, we both speculate it's more to do with the eddies rather than the actual entity, and so it's not a innately harmful creature. Yes, you don't fly into it; it'll probably break your ship. But I liked how it wasn't played for any great menace. It was just there's a naturally forming entity over there that's crystalline and happens to be in a dangerous situation doing something, and we're all chill and let's move on. I liked that. It brought it back down to a more relatable level.
Well, yeah, I mean, in TNG, like you said, it was just surviving off the stuff on the planet, and then Enterprise tried communicating with it, which got its attention until the lady did the high frequency thing and shattered it, essentially. I don't think they're necessarily a threat to people or spaceships. Just if you're on a planet and it's trying to feed and fuel itself, you're just one of the biologicals on the surface. Like, it doesn't really think about that, so, yeah.
Yeah, I just like the way they played it, and just the casualness. I mean, why wouldn't these things exist? It's such a cool creature, and it's like the crystalline Gormagander. They're a thing that just goes around, and maybe there's a dedicated part of space with it, and we're all chill. But it was such a throwaway, like, oh, there's so many of them. Oh, there's this one. It's so ridiculous.
Maybe it's from the Tholian sector. They're crystalline beings, so maybe they're related somehow. I don't know.
Second cousins, fourth removed.
Exactly. But if you guys want to put a comment down below, anything you think about it, what do you think about its life cycle, its intentions, let us know in the comment section. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell icon to all, because we like doing lives talking about all this kind of things, because we love Star Trek. So if you can join us, please do.
And if you want to support what we do, you know how many videos we make on a weekly basis. The answer is many, many, many. Then support us monthly if you can, either via Patreon or by the Trekyards YouTube join section. That's really, really important. Or join those lives in Super Chat. We love that. It's super interactive. And let's just have a conversation live, or at least that few seconds of delay. And of course, one time at PayPal, trekyards@hotmail.com, or buy some cool things using the links in the description. Easy peasy shirt. Go ahead and do that. Or just tune into the next video, which I'm sure will play shortly after this one. So just don't wait. And I'll start playing. Yeah.
See you guys next time. Until then, I'm Captain Foley.
I'm Kong. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.